Thank you, everyone. Please have your seats. A lot of excitement, Governor, a lot of excitement. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to HAFTR this morning for this very exciting visit. Before we begin, I want to recognize some of the special guests we have here today. Our President of HAFTR, Yaron Kornblum, our Chair, Neil Weiner, our amazing Executive Director, Ari Solomon, our dynamic Head of STEM Programming, Benny Gross, our Principals, Mr. Josh Gold, Ms. Joy Hammer, Rabbi Kupchik, and Cindy Goldberg, our very special local elected officials, Senator Todd Kaminsky, our County Executive, Laura Curran, our Town Supervisor, Laura Gillen, Village of Lawrence Mayor, Alex Edelman, Village of Lawrence Deputy Mayor, Michael Fragan, Village of Rockville Center Mayor, Francis Murray, of course, none of this is possible without Maury Litwack, our Executive Director of Teach NYS, our man in Albany, Jake Adler, and of course, our very special friend, David Lobel, the man behind the scenes. We're gathered here today to acknowledge and say thank you to New York State, specifically to our governor, for his assistance and help in combating the rise in threats of violence and anti-Semitism against our Jewish institutions here in New York, and to pay tribute to his leadership on this issue across the country. As many of you keenly remember, last November, we here at HAFTR were a target of one of these threats when we received a note that a bomb planted on the premises of our high school. With the safety of our students as top priority, we immediately evacuated the building and followed protocol to ensure the safety and securities of our students and our staff. While the threat was unfounded, thank God, it was a harrowing experience for our students and our community, and a reminder of the dangers we still face in 2018. Fortunately, in New York, we have leadership that is standing up for our community and fighting back against hate and division. Governor Cuomo has been a national champion for the Jewish community and a leading advocate for ensuring the security and safety of our schools. I have been fortunate to hear the governor on many occasions talk about this topic, and he is passionate and earnest in his advocacy for the Jewish community and all communities across the state that face the threat of baseless hate. So I'm especially grateful he is here with us today and look forward to hearing from him shortly. As a friend of our community dating back many decades to his late father, God bless his soul, the governor shares a special connection to our community. He runs to Israel at every chance he has, especially during the darkest days, to stand in solidarity with the Jewish people. The governor will tell you that's what friends do for each other. They're not only there in the good times, but they're there in the tough times more so. And I will tell you that's what our governor embodies, standing up for justice, righteousness, and security for all of us. We won't even talk about the unprecedented advances we have made in STEM education under his administration, because I know it's officially not on the agenda. Hopefully, Governor, we can finish in time and give you a quick tour of our great STEM lab that your leadership and vision help make a reality for all of our children as a place to learn the skills to become leaders of our great state in the years to come. Governor, it's an honor to us to say welcome to our home, our school, and to say thank you for all you do for us. And as a special gift, Governor, we have a mezuzah, which we hope will always keep you safe, specially created by our students in our STEM lab that I'd love to present to you now. Please join me now in welcoming the Executive Director of the Freeburg JCC in Oceanside, Joni Center.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for being here today. Sadly, the Freeburg JCC was also a victim of a bomb threat. It seemed straight out of a nightmare. On the morning of Wednesday, January 18th, we were the target of a senseless and hateful bomb threat that shook our community. We immediately evacuated the JCC and were grateful for the quick response of the Nassau County Police Department, who determined that the threat was unfounded. While we were deeply saddened by this act of hate, the threat also reminded us to remember our own values of goodness and respect for all. And it showed how New Yorkers will come together to support each other. Because in the wake of that threat and others targeting JCCs and the Jewish community, Governor Andrew Cuomo stood up for us and served as a national voice against hate. He was there for us during that difficult time, and he continues to stand with the Jewish community. So it is my honor to introduce the 56th governor of the great state of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I hope I'm not taking you from classes where you should be sitting and learning. If I am, I'm sure you'll be willing to stay afterwards a little late and make it up. I'm just kidding. Thank you for having me here today. First, let's thank Cal Nathan for his leadership. He's been a great friend to me. Oh, we can give him a bigger applause than that. Let's give a big applause to Cal Nathan. And to Joni Center, who does a great, great job. Let's give her a round of applause and thank her for everything she does. Your senator who drove down from Albany just to be here with you, Todd Kaminsky, who's a great champion and a great legislator. They were introduced, but you have a fantastic county executive in Laura Curran, and she's always there and a great partner. And also Laura Gillen, let's give her a big round of applause. And all the elected officials who are here, let's give them a big round of applause. I want to thank you very much for this mezuzah. You know where I'm going to put this? I'm going to put this on the front door of the governor's house in Albany, so everyone will see it who goes there. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me to be here today to talk about this issue, because this goes to the heart of who we are in this country and in this state. And the older I get, and I'm old now, the more I appreciate it. My grandfather, my father's father, was named Andrea. I was named for him. In the Italian culture, you're named for a living person, and very often in the Italian culture, you're named for the oldest son. The first son is named for the father's father. So my father's name was Mario, his father was Andrea, and I was named Andrew. And my grandfather, an Italian immigrant, always used to say the same thing. He used to say, "God bless America, God bless America." And I didn't really fully appreciate it when I was your age. God bless America. And when he said it, he would start to cry when he said, "God bless America." And I took it for granted. But what he was saying with "God bless America" was what a fantastic country America is, and how special it is on the globe Because America wasn't made from one race or one religion or one type of people. America had a different concept. America opened her arms and said, we accept people from all different races and all different religions, and we invite them all to come to America. And we don't discriminate where you come from. We don't care if you're rich or if you're poor or if you're white or if you're black or if you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim. We don't care. We invite you to come to America. 2 rules when you come to America. We believe in opportunity for all, and we believe in discrimination of none. That was the whole concept of America. And it worked extraordinarily well. People from all across the globe came. And they said, I can go to a country that doesn't discriminate, that doesn't care what religion I am or what race I am, that doesn't care if I'm rich or poor. And people came. And New York State is special because New York State was in many ways the laboratory for that experiment. And it was an experiment. No one else had done it before. And people came to New York. Why? Because we were the Eastern Shore, and all of Europe came to New York first. And the Jewish people came first and had one of the strongest presence in New York. It goes back to Emma Lazarus, the woman who wrote the poem that is on the Statue of Liberty. And New York wouldn't be New York without the Jewish people and that culture. We have more Jewish people in New York than anywhere outside of Israel, and we are proud of it. The Jewish tradition is so much of who we are as a people. So much of the religion, so much of the culture has become New York's culture. My father used to talk about the great Hebrew tradition of tikkun olam, to reach out and make the world a better place, and how that was universal in so many ways. And growing up in New York, you grow up with the Jewish community. I have 3 sisters. 2 of my 3 sisters married Jewish men. 1 married an Irish man. None married an Italian. I don't know why none of my sisters married an Italian. I have a theory, because I have a younger brother named Chris, who I think was not a good role model as an Italian, and that's why 2 of them married Jewish men and 1 of them married an Irish man. But it was so much a part of our culture. Now, God bless America, has faced challenging times. We're seeing a rash of actions that are contrary to the fundamental concept of this country. We're seeing more racial tension than ever before, more white supremacist groups than ever before, more Ku Klux Klan groups than ever before, KKK. And we're seeing more acts of anti-Semitism than we have seen in years. The ADL says that there was a 60% increase in anti-Semitic activity between 2016 and 2017. How frightening is that? In New York State, we've seen a 90% increase in anti-Semitic activity. It is frightening. Now, why? Part of it, I think, is the international situation and the international tensions in the Middle East and terrorism. And New York the United States is a very close ally with Israel. They are our #1 ally in the Middle East, and it's something that we hold dear and we respect. And when I was a young man, I was going to Israel for one of my first times, and my father said I wanted to sit with Shimon Peres. Shimon Peres we lost recently, but he was a great Israeli leader. He was president, he was prime minister, and he was just one of the wisest people you would ever meet. And I sat with him as a young man and I said, you know, how do you deal with all the terrorism that Israel deals with? And he said, Andrew, we have the terrorist attacks because they can get to us, because Israel is surrounded by countries that were hostile to Israel. But what they oppose in Israel, they also oppose in America, because the real opposition is the opposition to democracy. He said, and they can get to us today, but one day they will be able to get to you when they figure out how to cross the ocean. And then the problem that Israel has with terrorism, the United States will have with terrorism. This was maybe 40 years ago. And how prophetic, because this country now deals with terrorism in much the same way that Israel dealt with it. We also have tensions within our country. People are upset about the economy, people are upset about their jobs, and balancing the differences with people is always a constant tension. Because when people get angry, it's all too easy to target the differences among us. And that's been part of the problem. That is then compounded by what we're seeing now on violence in schools. We've never seen this before, where there was shootings in schools, violence in schools. This is all new. 23 weeks into the new year, we've had 23 acts of school violence, believe it or not. So, challenging times. And they challenge the very essence of who we are and what we believe. And they challenge our diversity. And what the state of New York says is, you're not going to do that. We're not going to let you challenge our diversity. We're not going to let you We're not going to allow you to target our religious differences or our racial differences. You violate the basic rule that makes America, America, and makes New York, New York. And in these times where you see this national scourge, this national tension, it's important for New York to lead the way. And for New York to stand up and say loud and clear, we have zero tolerance for any anti-Semitism, any race-based violence, any hostility. We will not let it happen. We will not let it happen in our state. And we will do everything we can to stop it. So it is important at this challenging time in the country that New York stands up, and New York stands up tall and proud, and we say we're going to do everything we can, and we are. We put together hate crimes task forces with additional police, that if there is a hate crime, there's an anti-Semitic activity, we will find out who did it. If there's any swastikas, if there's any violence, if there's any incidents whatsoever, we're going to find out who did it. We're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, period. Anyone who would threaten a school because of the religious belief of that school has no place in this state. And our state, we have a special unit of the state police that we put together that is working with the Nassau police and working with the town police, and we're all working together to make sure the message is loud and clear. Another thing that we're doing, thanks to the wisdom of the legislature, is we put together a program of $25 million, recognizing these are dangerous times, so that religious schools can actually modify their school and put in the security equipment that they need to make sure the students are safe. More cameras, more alarms, more security equipment. We call it Securing Community Against Hate Crimes. And today it's my pleasure to announce that we're going to award on Long Island over $2 million to 45 facilities. "45 facilities here on Long Island. We want every one of you, we want every student, every teacher to know that when they come to school, they are safe, that a school is a sanctuary, that they are protected, and that New York is going to make sure you are safe and that you are protected." New York State will stand as a monument against discrimination, against intolerance. New York State stands shoulder to shoulder with the state of Israel, and we want that to be clear, and that's what today is all about. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen and students, I'm going to conclude this program by simply saying that this community could not have a better friend in the governor's office than Governor Cuomo. And it's not just words, I've seen it. So when it comes to the state of Israel, it's not just talk. I was there when the governor signed his executive order that said if you're a company that says no to Israel because of BDS, New York will say no to you. And I was here in the 5 towns when he said 878 Nassau Expressway is not what it should be, and there's going to be $100 million of state money to overhaul the main evacuation route in our community. And as you boys and girls will learn about the Shoah, you will see that New York has learned its lesson. That whenever hate rears its head, we show no tolerance. We believe in nipping the problem in the bud, and we won't stand for anything less than 100% response. Our community could not have a better friend than Andrew Cuomo. And with his state response and our county executive leading its police department, when we observe the Sabbath and when we go through our communities and when we go to school, we should know that we have the best possible officials with the best possible resources having our back, and that's what this is about. So ladies and gentlemen, we will now conclude the program with some photos, but how about one last thank you for our terrific and tremendous governor. Thank you very much.